Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Let's Stay Gamers, and welcome. So today is Tuesday, and you're probably wondering what you'll be getting your hands on in this week's Medieval Engineers update. So we're out here in my small shack in the woods to do some logging. We've got one of our peasant workers there working away, moving some rocks for us. But the interesting little feature in this patch is actually in the character tools. We have an axe. What could we do with this sort of axe? Well, of course, we can chop down trees and turn them into lumber. Now, a lot of these things I'm going to show you in today's video look like they have a lot of emphasis on future updates on what they can actually be done. So let's pick ourselves a tree. Our barbarian over there, our peasant friend, is working away. So what you can notice is if I left click, I start to fall the tree. And you can see the tree. No, not my hut! Not on my hut! Oh, Jesus! The first bloody... Oh, damn it. Okay. So I'll just try to continue on. Right, so be careful where you fall in your trees. So you can see this is actually split up. And now if I break one of these pieces away, and you can see that my axe starts to do this motion, and it starts to split the logs into different parts. And now if I use left button continue, it actually chips the wood into useless little wood chunks like that. But if I right click, you can see I start to sculpt the log into a usable block. Now from this, I can actually go into my character animations, like so. I can pick this log up. So let's just try and lift this log with a 3. So grab this log. I'm trying to pick it up here. I think it might be a bit too heavy. No, I've got it. There we go. Now we can move it on over to the construction area. Now you can see I've got a lot of circle logs here. So if I want to refine this log even further and turn it into a circle, I get my right mouse button out again, and you can see I'm starting to do this sort of bit of a sculpting sort of act, and I've been left with a load of wood chips, and I've now got a round log. It's just really cool. So for the next tree we're going to actually cut down, we're going to head a little bit further away from the house so we don't have a repeat of the previous incident. And we're going to aim at the base, left click, and a few good swings should sever the tree. Timber! Oh damn, it's landed right on top of my log pile. And then from there we can start cutting this up. So you can see it's got this secondary animation, and it just slices this into smaller segments. So you've got to be careful not to be too direct with it. And as we cut the logs down, you can actually see how the leaves will break off the top part of the tree. And from a really long tree, you can get a lot of logs out of it. So you can see here, breaking off this. You'd have to have some sort of scrap pile to get rid of all the excess logs. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 logs from that tree. And from that, we can actually sculpt these into our blocks that we're going to use for construction. So we've got that now. We can actually pick that block up and we'll bring it over to the crates. So a nice simple click. There we go. Pick that up and bring that over to the crates. It's a little bit of a bug with the running animation. And we can drop that off there. We'll do one more, but I think we'll make this one into a round one. So we're going to sculpt this twice to turn it into a round one. So instead of the blocking animation, we try to sculpt the log down into that smaller piece, sculpt it down further, and it should round the log off. Now if you continue trying to sculpt it, it'll just turn into wood chips and won't allow you to actually go any further. So we'll pick that up and we'll continue and carry this over to the boxes. Now the boxes are one of the new features that are really interesting. I think we'll have to use this first person to pick this up. There we go. Now we've got in first person, we can get over to these boxes. So you can see these boxes, these have been added, the much larger ones rather than the smaller ones that we saw before. And they're here, so you can see a little bit of a plus icon. Now the plus icon allows us to filter between both large and small boxes. So you can see as I place this one, large blocks, bigger storage of course, small box, smaller storage. And they work on a volumetric sort of system. So let's pick up this block and I'll show you how to place something inside. Now you've got to be accurate with your pickup button. So we move over, we press T, it stores the item inside. We pick this block up, we move over, press T, and it stores inside. We've got a third one to place in here. Now you don't just store these, you can store other items and stuff. So I'll show you another example. So the wooden barrels also acts as a storage crate. So we can actually drop one of them in here like so. And we can store wooden logs in it. So we'll go and grab ourselves a log from over here. I think this one will do. And we can actually store these within the barrel if Aaron can ever pick anything up. There we go. We can actually walk back. I think you've got to go a little bit slower than I'm going with them. So there we go. Press T on top. And now it's stored within that barrel. Now if we want to get something out, it's quite easy. We just press T and it picks up the last item that we placed in it. But say we want to get everything out of that crate. If we hold shift and then press T, it'll drop everything out of the item. Now you're probably wondering what happens if you break a box with things in. So let's actually try that out. So let's load this box back up with a few different pieces. And there we go. We'll equip ourselves a cannonball. So So a cannonball from the menu, and what sort of cannonball should we do? Should we go with like a really heavy one? Yeah, let's do that. And then we could fire that at the box. So there we go. Now you can see how the box is actually broken, and it's actually spewed out all the pieces within inside. Now you can't put broken pieces of wood into these boxes. It seems like it can only store certain items at the moment. It can store chairs as well. That's pretty interesting. Anyway, let's move on. So the byproducts that you get from cutting these trees down seems to be these wood chippings and these branch leaves. Now, these must have some sort of use in the future. Maybe you can pulp up the actual wrecks or the leftovers from the wood. You see, as we chip these, we're left with all these wood chips. So maybe we can be left with some sort of function for these, maybe making pathways or mulching them together to build some sort of roofing material. I'm quite excited to actually see what they're going to do with it. Now, it's been a very exciting update. I can't wait to be swinging this axe and hopefully not taking out my own hut with it. But I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.